Yeah, it looks good.
It helped. All right, YouTube's good. We're live. There we go. All right. I'll get rocking here in a second. Let me get set. It's good. Should I just leave that? I'll leave that up right there. That's good. That's good. We'll give it a couple minutes, see if anyone pops on. There are a few people who said they were looking forward to watching. All right. Well, we got one person on now. All right.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Just need the one.
Let's get rolling. What is up, guys? 585 boys. What's going on? Johnny's here.
What's going on?
And he's here on time.
Yeah, I made it.
My boy.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about relationships, any and everything relationships, marriage, divorce, child, whatever you name it, and then whatever input or feedback or questions we'll rock right through, and hopefully get some interaction out of you guys. So we're just gonna kind of talk about all things with relationships, address some things, talk about some crazy things. I don't know if you guys knew, according to Facebook, most relationships end at the end of the holidays, after the holidays, but before spring, summer, all the nice weather. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah.
At the end of the holidays?
That's according to Facebook data.
So I wonder if it's they already know it's over, but it actually isn't official. They wait till after the holidays.
I didn't look at it like that, but yeah.
I mean, I could see.
I was thinking like, I feel like the holidays are the hard time to be alone.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
You'd obviously spend more money during the holidays, but you're not alone.
Right. Yeah. Holidays could top 3 worst part of breakup or divorce or whatever, for sure.
And then spring and summer is just time to let loose.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No doubt about it.
Also, did you guys know 69% of conflicts in relationships are never resolved? 69%.
Wow.
Never resolved. They're called perpetual problems. People just kind of live to manage them instead of.
And these are with people that stay together?
They stay together,
but they just don't.
They never resolve their issues.
I gotcha. Kind of just like, all right.
They live with them, manage them, but never fix the problem.
Okay.
Another interesting one. Did you guys also know that only 18% of married couples say they're in a truly very happy relationship? only 18% of marriages.
That's fucking very scary.
Yep.
That's scary. That's not a good number. That is not a good number.
And the kind
18%.
Yep.
Wow.
18%.
Okay.
Kind of go along with that is they say around 1 in 5, 20% have cheated in their relationship. 1 in 5 relationships, there's been a cheater.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah. 1 in 5.
20% men, 13% women
have admitted
out of
cheating.
that 1 in 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. So just some knowledge to drop before we get into the episode. We're just doing it because it's something we can all relate to. We all, on whatever the level, everyone has different levels. We can all relate to it. And we're not relationship professionals or anything. We're just we just have real life experience So,
Yeah.
So we're not going to promise that you're going to get anything out of this, but
No,
if
we would never do
if
that.
it helps
No.
one person or
Yeah.
if someone takes something out of it, wonderful. All right, well, let's get rolling. We're through that. The first thing I was going to talk about was the foundations of healthy relationships. The foundations of relationships. What do you, if you had to start with one, what would one foundation of a healthy relationship would you think?
Communication,
Huge.
I think, is gigantic.
Hit that one on the head.
Is it? It's on your list.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have three things. Let's see if you can hit them all.
communication.
That was the first one.
Like trust, honesty.
What's up, Corey? What's going on, man? What did you say?
Trust, honesty.
Yeah, that was the third one I had on the list.
Um,
What the second one? I don't know if you'll get this one.
Man, I don't know.
Boundaries was the third one.
Okay.
Another one I had on there.
All right.
So I had three big foundations of a healthy relationship: communication, boundaries, trust or respect.
Okay.
The core pillars of a good relationship. Communication, I think that one is a make or break. Like if you don't have it,
Yeah, it's
the
not-
relationship
yeah.
is broken.
I agree.
It's doomed.
Yeah.
So I think that one.
And the thing is, I think that one's like, I mean, say what you want, but that one's a tough one too,
Yeah,
because
it's probably one of the hardest.
it goes along with mental health and all that. Like, people don't really want to talk about a lot of things.
Right.
You know, they just kind of want to, like you said earlier, they like look past it. Like, you know what? It's done. Whatever.
Yep.
I don't even want to take the time. I don't want to. You hear people say all the time, like, it's just going to cause a fight.
Yeah.
It's just going to cause a fight. So I'm just not gonna.
And so those three were the three biggest ones that stood out to me, because you need all of them to have one of them. You need trust to be able to communicate. You need to be able to communicate that you need boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all three of those: communication, boundaries, and trust / respect. I think those are kind of one and the same. You can't do one without the others. So the trust, that's huge. I mean, that's another hard, big one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's take a second to reset.
There's no way I'm not laughing at that. I'm sorry. No shot.
We'll reset after that one. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yep.
All right. So trust and respect in a relationship. Hard, big one.
It is. It is a hard, big one. You're right.
Like I'll use my own relationship I'm in now as an example with the trust. Like, we never once have myself or her looked at each other's phones. Like, I feel like that's the biggest one a lot of people can
nowadays
relate
for sure.
to nowadays.
Yeah.
Because that's like, you'll see one of the viral videos on there is like this guy that comes around and goes up to couples and asks them, do you guys trust each other? All right, let me go through both your phones. And then
Yep. I've seen that one.
And if you can't hand it over, then okay, something's weird.
So, yeah.
But if you don't have that trust, that you don't even need to, like, you shouldn't have to look in your partner's phone. You shouldn't have to ask them to look in their phone.
Right.
Or else there's an underlying issue and there's a trust issue. Like, that's a problem number one.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why you want to look through it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Already right there.
So that's a huge one. Like there's I don't know. There's not a time in our relationship that I've questioned anything or like worried about anything,
Right.
And that's hard after 35 years of going through relationships and stuff like that. It's crazy. Hey boys, taking a quick break from work. Want to pop on? Like the new setup looks good. What's up, Ariana? Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're slowly trying to get this studio better here.
It's comfy in here. It's comfy.
Yeah, so we're just talking about the three big things for me that I had down to talk about for a foundation of a healthy relationship: communication, boundaries, and trust and respect.
So would that kind of go along with boundaries too then? Because what kind of boundary, like when you're married with kids, you talking about like butt play or something? Like what are we talking about with boundaries?
That's a great question. Any kind of boundaries, really. I mean, that ties in with communication, talking about your comforts, what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, what you need, within your boundary. Your boundary could be as little as like, I need 1 hour a day to myself. That's it. That could be a boundary, Yeah. And being able to talk about that and express what you need will help you.
Yeah. Good luck with that one, by the way.
I know. I'd love if for anyone who's listening, if anyone has had to ever set boundaries in their relationships, but healthy boundaries, things that you were able to set boundaries with each other and figure out. I mean, I'd also love to hear boundaries that maybe were unhealthy and didn't maybe ruined your relationship. But that's I think that's another big one, is just
because that was a good point. I feel like that can get you in trouble too, the boundary thing. Because there's a certain kind of threshold there that you can't ask for. Like you're still in a relationship now, especially
and once you go there, you can't take it out of their head. You can't bring it back.
No. Yeah, you can't be like, oh, that's fine then.
Right.
No,
right.
That's obviously something you wanted,
Let's just erase what I said. Forget that never happened.
Not that.
Sorry if you guys hear my sniffles or raspiness. I just trying to get through this cold here. Okay. So the communication, pretty make or break. You need all those to tie in together to work out the healthy relationship. And again, I'd love to hear what your guys' feedback is. Have any of you guys ever had to set a hard boundary with someone you're with, and it either worked out or didn't? Let's talk about conflict in relationships, navigating that. First off is, I don't think, well, let me ask you guys or Johnny what you guys think, if conflict always has to be a bad thing in relationships. I feel like that sounds like a very negative word, but
yeah. But I mean, it's reality.
Right.
It's definitely going to happen. There's going to be conflict. Not everybody's the same, obviously. We know that. So there's going to be conflict, but I think for my experience anyway, it's how you deal with it. It's how you communicate.
The outcome.
It's, both people too, both parties have to be open to hearing it. And the worst part for me is if you do communicate one of these conflicts or whatever, you're having some, something's going wrong, and then somebody will attack.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Which everybody's guilty of it from now and then.
Yep.
But you got to learn how to, you can't just always be on the attack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you are in the wrong, you know,
Yeah.
like, or because all of us have done something stupid, said something stupid, you know, we've all been in the wrong.
Yep.
Everybody. So it's, are we willing to fucking get off our high horse and be
Yeah.
like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Fucked
Yep.
up. I'm sorry.
Humble yourself
Or,
a
you know,
little bit.
like, yeah. And then talk it out.
Yep.
But again, that communication, that those conflicts, that's a tough one because that can bring the attacking, that can bring fights, all of it,
Right.
you know, and that can really escalate quick.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, it definitely depends on what the conflict is, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
no,
If I look at it like you said, what the outcome is how you guys in a relationship deal with that conflict. So, you know, what are you doing to try to resolve that conflict?
Right.
You know,
Right.
Are you listening to each other?
well, I was just about to say, actually hear each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Active
actually
listening.
listen to
Yep.
what they're saying. Don't just listen and have a comeback.
Right. Show them that you hear what they're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times people will take it as they're being attacked, so they're going to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be, both people could be at fault there because you need to learn to communicate, you know, like learn not to be on the attack and not to take it like that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's not easy though. I mean, especially if it's, who knows, it could be anything, but if it bothers you that much, it's very tough to present it in a,
Yeah.
you know, like a calm, peaceful way, almost like where you want to have that conversation. Sometimes you see red.
Yep.
You know,
I think a big thing is it sounds kind of cliche and they use it. It sounds like, I don't know, therapeutic, like a therapist would say, but the I statements of like using your feelings and your emotions and saying I more than like coming at it like you,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Turning it into like, what are you feeling instead of the other person, what they're doing wrong as much.
right,
Not making him feel like you just attack at him.
yeah. But at the same time, you got to listen to the other
Mm-hmm.
part of it too, or else those I statements don't really matter.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
then you look, you know, like selfish.
Yep.
It's just me, you know.
Right.
So
It's both people have to be able to communicate that.
yes. And it's not easy in certain settings. It just isn't, you know.
Yep. Have one thing I had, have you ever had an argument that sometimes I write like, I think I write so fast, like stupid.
What?
What's an argument that taught you something valuable and did it change you? Like, did you change from that? Do you even have one? I don't even know if I could, I probably do, but
yeah, I mean, nothing like, not anything that like sticks out, but I think like, I guess I can think of like a group of them that I can say has absolutely changed me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it was like one specific like day. I can't remember one specific day where I was like, oh shit, you know.
Yep.
But I think the grouping of them, because you most likely going to have more than one. Yeah, I think it definitely, there have been some of those that have changed me over, you know, time, I guess, you know, not just one person, not, you know, it can be with different people too, but, you know, with my ex and that relationship, yeah, I definitely changed since then. 100%. no doubt about it. And a lot of it had to do with those arguments, those talks, all that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I feel like
I don't know how they
mine.
can't.
I feel like I like generally speaking, I feel like the biggest thing for me was like I learned and I try, like I'm still not great at it, but to be able to just say sorry and like own and accept like, oh yeah, what I did or how I felt or what I didn't do did affect this person.
Yeah.
And like own that and try to work on that. I feel like I try to do that more. Like I'm more not worried about admitting I'm wrong as much.
Yeah.
I still hate to do it,
Well,
but
yeah,
I'm better
it's
at
an extremely tough thing to do.
I become better at talking and communicating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that's my biggest.
Yeah. And it's extremely difficult to admit when you're wrong.
It is.
It really is. I mean,
Most people cannot self-reflect and own up
right.
to
Yeah. No,
their
it's
emotions.
definitely not an easy thing to do. And there's been times where, you get in these arguments and you just won't, where you're just like, no, I'm not wrong. I'm not, like you just don't.
A lot of it's like a pride thing.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's almost becomes competitive. Like, no, that ain't me. It's you, like that type of thing. And doesn't really get you anywhere though,
Right. Absolutely.
It's tough though. That's a tough thing because, like I said before, you both have to admit to certain things for that to work though.
Yep.
Because if you're just going to sit there and admit all these things and then it's not going to be reciprocated,
it's pointless. You're going nowhere with it.
That's going to create a problem too,
Well, yeah, everything's just going to fester and like bottle up.
It'll always come back, always.
And then comes the anger and the resentment and
yep,
all the things attached with not getting all those feelings out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about growing with each other in a relationship and kind of together? So either kind of you grow together or you're just going to grow apart.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Especially when you're in a long-term relationship, it's not easy to keep that same level of, I don't want to say interest, but
growing and adapting together.
Kind of, because even with like roommates and stuff like that, you get sick of people after a while,
right. Right.
But yeah, you gotta, man, that's a tough one.
You have to find ways to grow, adapt, and change. Because you can't, you can both kind of stay the same throughout the whole thing, or you can change in the sense like finding new interests, finding new things to re-spark your relationships,
Effort.
Yeah, because nobody wants to just coast through the same relationship and not do new things together.
Right.
And
because everybody goes through that type of patch where it's things kind of get a little stale,
right?
Whatever, same thing over and over. That's life though,
and you have to work through it.
Yeah, that's a big thing that well, obviously, because you see all the amount of divorces and all that stuff. It's not something that we as a people are great at. I would say.
And it's only getting worse.
Yeah.
Relationships aren't what they used to be. Meaning of relationship, of marriage, let's even say marriage or just a relationship. There's the commitment to what you're in. Like
Mhm.
people just use relationship as a word right now
Yeah.
instead of this.
Loyalty
Yeah.
is a big one that I think is gone almost. It's not even close to what it used to be,
Nope.
you know.
Well, things get hard and people are just like, well, we can break up and go to the next relationship.
Right. And you're also told that it's okay.
Right.
Which absolutely it's going to happen.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that everybody has to, like there are times where, that's just it's not going to work.
Right.
I just feel like can't be
so
this many.
fast.
Yeah. That just kind of
Give up. Yeah. It's
I'm good.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's hard. It's always going to be hard. It's going to be hard the whole way throughout. And I've talked to, like my mom about this type stuff and all that stuff. It's like, it's not easy. It's not going to be
What's up, Alyssa?
It's not going to be a joyride the whole time.
Right.
It's you go through shit and you do it together. Yeah, you're going to get mad at each other. You're going to get pissed. You might go take a drive for a while and need to get away. You might do this shit, but
right.
At the end of the day, it's family,
Right. I think there's a big turning point. So there's a point where you have to recognize where it's what the problem is, and recognizing if it's a point where, okay, there isn't any fixing this, or like we just no longer work for each other, or we can keep trying to work, but there's definitely a point where it's just like you have to recognize it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But then what is that point? You know what I mean? When do you there's so many different circumstances.
Yeah, that's impossible to really say, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But my grandparents, for example, were married over 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they dealt with some shit
mm-hmm.
and
guaranteed. Oh yeah,
63 years. It wasn't perfect.
100%.
For 63,
yeah.
63 years. No. But anytime there was, they worked through it. Granted, I'd be curious what those issues were, because I feel like right now, like nowadays, there's a lot more. It's a lot more complicated with social media.
I was just about to say phones.
Yep.
Phones are, I don't know what the statistics are, but that's got to be astronomical.
Yep.
With a leading cause of like divorces and breakups is because you can get hold of anybody now at any time.
Yeah.
Social media too. That kind of goes along with phones. Like that's huge. Yep. Back in the day, even back when we were kids, that shit wasn't around.
No, you were only going to use the phone to call your friends to play.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. And it's way different now. You talk to people in a different country if you want to right now.
Right.
Like it's, and yeah, it obviously doesn't make it right, but.
And just the fact that people spend more of their time looking down on their phone than their life around them.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Which is,
we're all guilty of that a little bit.
Which is insane.
Yep.
Let me see what we got here. What's up, Stacy? Relationships and marriages are different because there's a huge lack in communication. People are afraid to have hard conversations. They take the easy way out by breaking up and continue the cycle. 1000%. Yes. That was kind of what we touched upon in the beginning, the communication. Mm-hmm. Make or break for relationships. If you can't do that, you might as well just give it up. We had MySpace. Yeah, we did. We did have MySpace.
True. I actually forgot about MySpace.
I feel like that was later in our
years, but
I
forgot about that.
That was fun.
MySpace.
social media makes people so accessible. Test people's ability not to do something. Yeah, there's a shitload more of temptation out there.
Oh yeah, huge.
Sometimes it's hard to communicate feelings. I had the conversation in my head and it doesn't go well. So I go into the actual talk already emotionally angry, defensive, ready to fight.
Who said that?
Danielle. So I need to go into conversations without doing that because, yeah. So, I mean, that's what happens naturally for anyone.
Yeah.
Conversations, just life in general. Anything you picture in your head is always the worst case scenario. We never jump to like
100%.
In your mind, nothing goes, you're not looking at it like, oh, I'm going to talk to them and this is going to go great and we're going to all just be wonderful. It's always the worst.
Yeah, always worst case.
Doing that is what turns it into the worst.
Yeah, and I'm glad she said that because I do the same shit.
We all do. I mean, I'm sure most of us do that.
But like, I guess I might be different in the fact that I feel like I am so much better when I have that conversation in my head. I feel like it's gonna be like, okay, no, I got this. This is good. And when I actually get to it, I'm awful. Like I don't even know. Like I forget what we're like talking in my mind. Just fucking.
I feel like it's almost like the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, when you're on the spot,
I could talk so well in my head.
I can't. Yeah, like I can't. It's not one of my strong suits.
No,
is coming up, and some people can do it. Some people, it is what it is. But it's not an excuse not to communicate, though.
Right.
You still, especially if it's the person you're in a relationship with, it shouldn't really matter.
Yeah,
how it comes out,
and that's the thing. Yeah, sure. There's going to be challenges with however it comes out and you have the conversation, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to go as horribly unless you really fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely different levels of this and circumstances for sure.
Most of the time it's not going to go, as bad as you think it is. But by not doing that, it's going to cause it to be worse.
Well, and then, yeah, exactly. If you don't communicate, all it does, you're going to sit there. And like you said earlier, that resentment's going to build. You're going to get, it's just like almost being like if you're bullied.
Yeah.
Builds and builds and builds and builds. And it's going to come out.
Yep.
One way or the other, at some point, it's coming out.
Like school shootings.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's also hard to communicate if they're so defensive what the other person is saying, contradicting everything the person is saying, trying to talk.
Yep.
Right.
It's huge.
We talked about that too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to talk and have an active listener, and then you need to be
do the same
to let them talk.
Yeah.
And be the active
and it's
listener.
Not easy to do, but yes, that shit happens all the time.
Yep.
Where they think that you're attacking, so they play that defensive game and then attack back.
Yep.
And
also having the ability to own your side of it too is, all right, they weren't doing something that I needed. Why? Could I have been doing more of something to maybe feed off of their energy? And then they were, whatever that scenario is, look at yourself first and then talk to that person and see where you guys can get to, because maybe there's a reason behind why they feel so defensive or why they did something that caused this conflict.
Right.
Who knows? Everyone has a reason for doing something, whether it's bullshit or not. That's the question. It depends on what that conflict is.
I feel like the listening part's huge, though.
1,000%.
I really do.
Yep. What else? They start to throw. There's nothing wrong with admitting faults. Nope. no, that's what I've been trying to be better at over the years, is just, it's okay to have your faults and own up to it, and look at yourself. Lack of accountability on the listener. Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about what do I have here? Oh, have you guys, Johnny, anybody, either had a relationship or a friendship that ended and changed how you saw that connection? Whether friendship, whatever type of relationship, marriage, relationship, and non-marriage, you know.
Yeah. For sure. 100%.
Anyway.
It's 100%. Yeah. It's like change how you see that person, basically.
Yeah,
how you
that
saw what
person
it-
or that connection. So like,
What you thought you had.
right.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. Yes. Just and a lot of that was when it was already over, how people react then, actions they take after that. To me, that tells a lot about how you saw me, you know, like how you react afterwards, especially if it was you were getting along okay, you know, while it was, you know, ending and all that stuff, and
Right.
trying to do all that. Yeah. That for sure changes the way
You see that person.
you see that person. You look back at things and think like, you know, how is this even possible?
Right.
Shit that you think wouldn't in a million years they would have done. And now one way that it's changed me is, I don't want to say I'm not going to trust anybody, but I'm not going to be surprised by anything.
Right.
Nothing will surprise me anymore. Because
so you grew in a sense.
yeah,
there.
like there's
the lesson.
Nothing that will surprise me
Right.
with pretty much anything
Right.
that comes out of like a relationship or even a friendship, whatever. People, everybody's different. Everybody's human. They're going to do what they want to do at the end of the day.
Yep.
Is it some of the things they do right? I don't know. To me, though, in my experiences, for me, no, it wasn't.
Right.
Those things.
Yep.
And I have a hard time just looking past that. Like,
do you
I'm
think
not
it
going
like?
to.
Do you think that makes you put up more of a guard, a wall, the next time you're in a relationship?
Yeah, probably. And it's probably not a good thing, but yeah, I definitely think it does. Definitely way, you know, more cautious. And
I think that because I've had the same thing too, in the sense of having a guard way up there. And I think it can keep you safe. It can protect you, but also it's like a toxic thing with us too, because if you can take that, but not, it's hard not to let it affect the next relationship. If you have your guard up, have that wall up, but not let it affect,
project onto that.
Yeah. I think that's something that a lot of people deal with, is making sure the faults and issues with someone else don't carry into your next relationship.
Yeah.
In a negative way, which I think that also comes huge with communication is the person you're with, you should be able to talk about that. If you had bad experiences in past relationships, you should be able to talk about that with someone you're serious with, or
Yeah.
you know,
100%, yeah.
and then you can have that guard, but now you both know the feelings and
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah, for sure.
then that person's not wondering why you're so protective of your feelings or this or that. Have more of an understanding.
That's a deep one, man.
That is.
It's a deep one.
That is.
But yeah, that's a tough one.
People seem so great in the beginning. Whoa. I lost it. Where is it? People seem so great in the beginning. Then you really start to see people's true colors after a certain amount of time. Yeah, that's that whole honeymoon phase.
Yeah, it's gonna come out.
We all want someone to see the best sides of us. You know, it takes a while for the those little things to start showing.
That's something you can't hide forever.
Yeah, that's tough. It because you could go years with someone.
Yeah, it can't blindside you.
Are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. I think whenever a friendship or relationship ends, it's an opportunity for self-reflection, because we can't control anything with the other person. It's on them to grow or not. I think that's an awesome thing, because I did that after my divorce. I tried, like, right in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I hate her, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I have my faults. And like, I had to just stop focusing on the other person and like look at my faults, look at what I could have done better, and just kind of I did a whole reset of my mentality, my whole person of who I thought I knew, and just wiped it out, reset, and just tried to focus on me being better than the other person, just like you said, because it takes two people in a relationship. I'm not perfect, they're not perfect, and all you can do is control yourself.
Yeah, and you also, good thing I've heard is you cannot expect yourself out of other people.
Right. Yep.
And that I have trouble with. I'll admit that. But you can't.
Or mind read.
Yeah, true.
In the same.
Yes.
They're both the same. Like,
yes.
They're not going to be you, and they can't read your mind.
Right. Right.
Some people need to have guards up because the other person could be so toxic and psychotic. Right. I don't think there's any problem with having a guard or a wall, whatever. It's just how you manage it. As long as you're not taking it into a new relationship and like using it against making that person pay for someone else's mistakes.
Right.
Like if someone cheats and you broke up, you're going into a new relationship, you can't just go into that relationship assuming that next person's going to cheat just because the last one did. You know, so it's okay. It's okay to protect your feelings, but you don't want to guard them so tightly that you don't let anyone else in. I try not to let any failed relationships or friendships negatively impact my outlook on life or any other people around me. If it didn't work, then I feel the universe didn't intend for it to stay in my life. Got to lose some things to welcome blessings. Yeah. I've turned into a huge believer of that. Every year that goes by, I feel like I've seen something that I'm glad this happened because it gave me this, or made me stronger with that. Or I do definitely think that a lot happens for a reason, and I feel like in the moment it seems terrible, or it might be your worst moment or whatever. But man, I promise down the road, you look at like, damn, I took a lot out of this. Is what I learned from that, and I'm so happy this happened,
Mhm.
got through it, and better for it now. I think divorce can truly be a catalyst for serious growth if you have the right mindset about it. Yeah. Any negative things in your life, it's all about mindset, how you deal with it, for sure. If you're just a negative Nancy and just want to self-loathe and pity and depression, then it's going to be hard. You're never going to dig yourself out of that unless you can kind of turn that mentality into, all right, how can this be positive? What can I do to make this a positive situation? During my divorce, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, changed my life and changed the way I thought about things. The biggest thing was thinking life happens for us, not to us. Yeah, that is cool. I mean, the mind is such a powerful thing. It really is. It can make or break your life. I have a question for the men. What's up, Mina?
Oh, wow. Mina.
Have you heard of the cab theory? No.
I have not.
No, I haven't. Let's see if I can pull that up. Jamie, pull that up.
I think that's copyrighted. You can say that.
Oh, it can't be. We're not big enough. We're not making money off of it. What? Hold on here. This can't be.
Did that just say men are like taxi cabs? Is that
I
what
don't know.
saw?
I'm pulling that up right now. The taxi cab theory, or cab light theory, is a popular but often criticized theory about dating and relationships. It suggests that men are like taxi cabs, driving around until they're ready to settle down and then turning on their light to indicate they're available for commitment. Once their light is on, they'll take the first person they pick for a serious relationship, regardless of how good their previous relationships might have been. Wow. That's deep. The taxi cab theory.
I
gotta take that in for a second.
Yeah, I gotta think about this one a little bit.
Because I need to make sure I'm reading it and understanding it, but I can see that. I'm going to read it again. So the taxi cab theory suggests that men are like taxi cabs, driving around until they're ready to settle down and then turning on their light to indicate they're available for commitment. Once their light is on, they'll take the first person they pick up for a serious relationship, regardless of how good their previous relationships might have been. I think there's so much involved in that. I could
that's
definitely see that, but there's so many different pieces to that, because I don't know.
That's kind of
I definitely love to. That's a great one. I definitely love to hear other people's input on that. Because it's hard, because maybe the relationship could have been great. Their previous relationship could have been great, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't a relationship built for like long term, or maybe it was more built for a friendship. Maybe they would have been better friends, but how do you go from? I think it's really interesting, because I've seen women being in a relationship for 8 years, break up with their boyfriend because he's not ready. Then 6 to 12 months later, they're engaged.
I have heard about this before.
Not ready to get married. Oh, okay. So because I've Seen women being in a relationship for 8 years, break up with their boyfriend because he's not ready to get married. Then 6 to 12 months later, they're engaged or the right time. I feel like that's a cop-out. Maybe they were comfortable. Maybe they were with this person for that long and they were comfortable and didn't want to do the hard thing, but didn't want to commit to that person because they knew they didn't want to be with them forever. Maybe it was it sounds stupid to me. Yeah, why would I mean, if you're with someone for 8 years and you're not ready to pull the trigger, I mean, I feel like that was probably at least 4 years too long. They'll get married to the next woman. One thing with that, Mina, I will say, I think there's some, and I think women are guilty of this part too. I think it's men and women. I think a lot of that getting married and moving on so fast with the next person is more of like show up the last person. Because if you were with someone that long and it only took you 6 months or a year or whatever to get married to that next person, you don't know that person. You can't tell me you know that person better than you knew the last one that you were with for 100 times as long. I think a lot of times, and I'd be curious how long that marriage lasted, because I don't know. I think a lot of men and women will just get in this next relationship fast and move fast just to kind of show their last relationship, the last person they were with, like, look, I got married. I'm ready. I moved on to something better. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Like I'm good. I'm good. It's kind of sad to think that could possibly happen, but it definitely does.
Right.
Again, that's almost like a competition thing. Like, I'm happier before you.
Yeah.
I'm happier than you.
I'd be curious what all the underlying issues, because like why wasn't he ready? Because I'll tell you what, he didn't just all of a sudden become ready in that next relationship. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely see that. I've never heard of that theory.
No, me either.
But you definitely see it happen. And I can't imagine, I'd love to see the stats on it, but I can't imagine that next relationship most of the time lasts, because it can't be genuine. There's no way. I feel like if you're with someone that long, there's stuff you got to go through and healing and changing to be in a relationship where you're ready to settle down and get married and have kids. And I don't know. That is crazy. Thanks for that one, Mina. That was,
we learned something today.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Someone being with someone that long should be taking at least a year to focus on themselves before jumping into the next person. Maybe the next person is quick to get engaged because they found someone that will tolerate their red flags or something. I don't know. That's an interesting topic for sure. There are a lot of people that kind of rub it in. Yeah. I feel like that next one is not. It's not a true genuine connection, like you said, Stacy. There's got to be time and reflection and changing or healing. There's got to be time in between your next relationship for it to be anything healthy. Wow. Interesting. So before we jump into this next topic here, the big thing is to kind of summarize that this first little section is the huge 3 things, I think, that for the relationship: that communication, just to kind of hit those again, the boundaries, and trust, respect in the relationship. I'm curious what you guys think. What's one thing that you wish people understood better about relationships? One thing that you wish people thought, or you wish people understood better about relationships? What do you guys think?
I mean, not everybody has the same relationship. Not everybody's going to look like yours might look, or what,
Or like social medias.
or what. Yeah, definitely not social media, but or what you may think one should look like. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yep.
I feel like everybody's different. Again, everybody's different, so
Mhm.
you're gonna have a different relationship with a different person. Everybody is going to.
Right.
No two relationships are going to be the same.
Yeah. Don't try to model what your
Yeah,
relationship should
it's-
look like
Yeah.
off of Joe Schmo on Facebook,
Yeah.
because they're perfect and happy. And
Yeah. Exactly.
I think my big thing would be know what you need to understand what a relationship means. I think just everything behind it, commitment, like what you're actually committing to. Understand what's entailed with a relationship, the
Mhm.
responsibility. You know, I think people are people are focused on the wrong things with relationships nowadays, and I feel like they're not. It's a team. It's it's a commitment, and I feel like people need to understand that more. It's working together, going through hard things, fixing hard things, being better on the other side of it, not just giving up. You know. So that would be my.
There's that word I love, loyalty.
I mean,
I really,
it's not all rainbows and sunshine. It gets hard and complicated. The pandemic almost broke my marriage. Yep.
yeah,
And I think it broke a lot of marriages.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Bring back old school commitment and loyalty. Yeah. Relationships are not, the meaning is not the same as
Mhm.
what it used to be.
No.
But yeah, you gotta know, like Mina was saying, you gotta know it's not gonna be, it can't be
No,
perfect.
it's
Nobody's
impossible.
perfect all the time. There is no such thing as a perfect relationship.
No.
And you have to at least try to find a way to fix it. At least you owe it to your partner, to yourself, not to just say, oh, this is hard and I'm done with it. Are you solid on your boundaries where you set the bar across the board? Or do you find yourself holding different relationships to different standards? Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't have the same relationship and same expectations across the board for any and every one. No one's the same. One person you're with isn't going to be the same as the next person you're with. So it's impossible to have the same boundaries for everyone. It depends on what those are. I mean, if it's something personal where you're like, this is how I feel, this is my boundary, no one can be in my life. Well, all right, I guess it depends on what that is, but you can't treat a friendship the same way as another friendship or as a relationship, or everything needs to be created separately. Good question. Let's go on to that divorce thing. Let's talk a little bit about divorce. One thing I kind of wanted to tie like divorce, cheating, a few of those things in together. One thing I read was that around 70% of divorces or divorces are initiated by women, and the breakups is pretty close, but is still initiated more often by women, which is pretty wild. Kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about that. Why do you think divorces in particular, about 70% of those are mostly initiated by women? And then it said that when you look at college educated women, it gets closer to 90%.
Well, I think some of that correlation, didn't you say in the beginning, the stat where men cheat more?
Yeah, 20 1 out of 5 relationships there's been infidelity, and then
Okay.
out of that 1 in 5, 20% has been men, 13% women.
So I think I would have to think that somehow correlates to that.
Yeah.
In a way, because that usually that's probably one of the bigger reasons.
So let's run with that. Let's go right from that. Why do you guys think men cheat more? What do you guys think? Why do you guys think there's a higher percentage of men cheating than women? I mean, they do it too. It's not far off. But what do you think?
Fuck, I don't know. I think some of it has to do with, I'd be interested to see what the numbers were like, maybe 20, 30 years ago. How they were. I don't know. It's just different. Actually, they might have even been worse back then.
I feel like back in the day, there was
way more men.
cheating.
Yeah, men. Yeah. Because they were
it was
kind of out more on their own. There was no.
I feel like the whole like generational, the roles, like how back in the day women were expected to stay home, cook, clean, that stuff, and be more obedient and be more for their man, while men could go out and do whatever they want, whatever, have the social life, this and that. Obviously we've come a long way from that, but that's where I feel like the gap would change a lot more.
Yeah.
Where one of my thoughts behind I think Stacy, I think you guys are hitting some points that I wanted to bring up. So Alyssa said, oh wait, you guys are moving too fast. The reason why it's initiated by women is because you beg and beg for so long for a change. Yep. Men are easily persuaded. Men are not. Damn, you guys got all the answers for the men.
This is an easy one.
That was shit. Men are not emotional about sex. Most women are. So Mina, I would agree with you on that if it's like 10, maybe not 10 years ago, 5 years ago. No, probably more like 10, because I agree with you on that, except now I feel like the whole sex dynamic is like gone in our society. Obviously, I feel like our generation and earlier, it meant something more, but I feel like nowadays these kids are like, it's all about how many people you can have sex with.
Yeah.
OnlyFans is getting people on there, porn, all that shit, which I feel like that all that stuff has turned sex into more of like fun and exciting, and as opposed to an emotional attachment. Men are easily persuaded. Men are not emotional about sex. We got. Dad used to have a saying: "A hard dick has no conscience."
I read that like 2 minutes ago and just started laughing, but I didn't want to laugh while you were talking.
Men struggle with resisting temptation. You don't know what goes behind closed doors. We get old and lazy. LOL. Yeah, so you guys kind of hit some things that I thought as far as men go. I feel like men definitely have a harder time resisting temptation and just in general less self-control. I mean, you look, I guarantee it's a higher rate of alcoholism, drug abuse, infidelity, we know. So I feel like men have a harder time with toxic traits, have less self-control with toxic traits.
And I think the ego thing is big too. Helps with their ego.
Where'd you
right, and resisting temptation. Maybe they struggle with the ego thing, because that is definitely something that even when we were kids you'd talk about, as, oh, you're the man,
right.
like damn, you hooked up with her, or you hooked up, how many did you hook up, it was
a popularity thing.
It is, yeah, so that definitely plays a part in it, for sure.
I think men also have more self-confidence issues. So if you're with a partner and don't feel adequate, there's definitely guys out there that might not feel adequate. They go seeking that positive reinforcement somewhere else. So they might not need an attachment, an emotional attachment, but if they feel better about themselves with someone because someone else is catering to them, or I don't know. So I think a lot of it is looking inward, self-confidence, the temptation one, and what, self-control. We're big. And another thing too that kind of goes along with the hard dick comment there. Oh shit, hold on. Sorry guys. Another thing that kind of goes along with that hard dick statement is I also do believe, men have more testosterone. So men are naturally more horny, more aggressive, more, I think we make more, what's the word? Like quick decisions. We don't think things through as much. I gotta see what these were saying. So I think I'm not a stat guy, so I don't know the stats in it, but women naturally have less testosterone. Men have more. So men's sex drive is naturally higher than women's sex drive. And then you pair that with no self-control and being horny all the time, and maybe self-conscious, and they just got to go out and make irrational decisions. Let me see what we got over here. So I need to go in there. What's up, Jack, on YouTube? If women are, first of all, Jack, you're going to learn that big words do not suit us well. If women are hypergamous, and the stats show most relationships fail, and they got so many more opportunities than men do, why even bother when the hub is free? Well, that's a slippery, dangerous slope. I think it's testosterone. Yep, I agree with you. That's definitely a factor. I used to be real big. I've lost 280 pounds. I resent humanity because women weren't interested, and people in general are meaner to fat people and nicer to good looking people. That's why I don't date. I'm only interested in women that are smart and not vain and would be a good mother and wife. Those are already snatched up. Is anyone reading this? Yeah, sorry, Jack. I looked up the cab theory while you were commenting. I used to be real big. So So where are you at now? Did you said you used to be 280 pounds? I think women that are like that are just, yeah. I mean, they probably have self-confidence issues themselves, but there's someone out there for everyone. It doesn't matter. I mean, you might have been big, but there's hot skinny girls that love big guys. I don't think it's hard. That's tricky, you know, because you just, I get what you're saying, that I can't pretend to know how you feel in that situation, other than saying, you know, there's hot chicks out there that love 280-pound guys. So just don't be too fast to write people off. I'm 34. I'm an attorney. House paid off. I got a career. I'm no longer obese, but still trying to gain muscle. I need to get loose skin surgery. That's great, man. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's all you can do. Focus on yourself, focus on your health and your mentality. You're like we were talking about before, mentality and how you are is going to attract whatever you're
I was
feeling.
going to say, you don't even necessarily have to be looking. I
Right.
feel like when you start to get better on your own, as your own person, it's going to find you.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
things just kind of always seem to just fall into place like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to get better first, though, or else it's not going to matter.
But the resentment still exists.
Yeah.
I'm jaded. No one liked me when I was big. So that turns in. So people created that scar, right? So they cut you, you have the scar, but the thing that, not other big girls. The thing is you can't, that becomes a battle that you have to deal with for yourself then. Like, you have to figure out a way to get past that resentment and not hold it against yourself or other people in the future. You got to build your mentality, build your mental strength. And like Johnny was just saying, like we were talking about, I'm reading this book. This one is about finances. It's but a huge thing that they talk about it, a whole chapter of it is about your spirituality and your mentality. And spirituality doesn't mean you have to believe in God or this or that. It's something bigger than yourself, something in the universe where you build your mentality, you just give off this positive aura and visualize good things, and somehow it happens. It works out. And if you can't, you really just have to focus on yourself and your mentality, because it will. You keep asking for something. If you keep telling yourself, okay, I want to lose weight, I want to gain this much muscle, and you put it out there, put it in the universe, keep telling yourself, this is what you want, this is what I'm going to get. Now your brain, your mentality is focused on that, and you naturally will do the things you need to do to build that, to focus on that. So I really believe positive thoughts, positive reinforcement brings the positive actions.
And not only that, make it a little bit simpler. Like, when you are ready to kind of go out there, these other people, these other women, they weren't the ones that, you know, rejected you. So again, like we were saying earlier, you can't project that onto them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I get it. I totally get what he's saying. Like, he's pissed, you know, and it is fucked up, you know, it probably is true. You know, maybe people are a little bit nicer to good looking people, you know, in quotes, you know, whatever. But it's tough. Like, you got to be careful with that, projecting it onto other people, because, you know, these people aren't the ones that thought like that. Maybe they don't think like that. But now that you're doing all this good stuff for yourself, you're even a new person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You're building your new you. So just run with it, man.
Yep.
Like, be happy about that. And then things will happen. It just will.
I'd love to hear from Cheater on their perspective. Yeah. We'll try to find someone who will openly admit and come on here. It's just a notch on the belt back in the day. Is it a love language disconnect? Love language is huge. With the cheating and relationships, you definitely need to at least understand each other's love language. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you don't have a physical, it's going to obviously take its toll. You can have a strong emotional relationship, but if the physical isn't there, it's going to cause problems with the emotion. Jack, sounds cap, no offense, because insecure people date. Well, yeah. I don't know what you totally mean there. Well, some of them were the ones that rejected me. I mean, look, we've all gotten rejected, and men definitely, I'm sure women definitely do too, but men, I think, have a huge insecurities and stuff like that, self-confidence issues. But you just gotta, I mean, I've had my rejections, and it's just like, well, I guess that wasn't meant to be, and just keep going. But I mean, it sounds like you're doing the right things. You're focusing on yourself. You got a great career. You lost your weight. You're getting in shape. I mean, shit. Who cares? I know it probably.
And that's more about getting healthy than anything else.
Yeah.
You're healthier now, mentally and physically.
Where are you trying to meet these women? I think that's a big thing, maybe meeting, I guess, not going out there trying to meet women as much as just going out there and doing things that you love to do by yourself for fun. And then the people you meet there are going to be people that you share the common interest.
Yep.
Me and my fiance, we both met at the gym. I was going to the gym. I didn't want a relationship with anyone. I didn't want to especially get in a relationship with anyone in a gym that I was going to or a business that we were associated with. But being that we both had this common interest, we knew we shared that at the very least, and it all came together. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm not telling you that anything that I say is right or wrong. It's just my 2 cents. I don't know your personal experience. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah, so that love language thing is huge. And the communication with that, you have to be able to tell. You got to know what each other's love language is. Like me, I'm not skinny Barbie thing, but I own a business. I have my own house, brand new car, take care of my 2 kids, don't need a man for nothing. What's mine is mine. If the right one comes along, fine. If not, oh freaking well, a bunch of good guys are with the wrong girls. Yeah. You have to love yourself first before you can love another person. 1000%. People don't get that. People just, I don't know what it is. It's hard because a lot of people nowadays just don't want to be alone. And they get in these relationships just for the companionship. And no matter what the toxic traits are or the red flags are, they accept that over being alone.
They can push them aside. Yep.
But that's the problem, is if you're not alone. I had to like become okay with taking myself out to dinner and just enjoying it, go to dinner by myself and, just do things by myself that I was fine. I didn't need someone else there.
No, I just went out of town last weekend by myself. Nobody even knew. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go, if you want to do it, go do it.
Right. Yep.
It might be scary a little bit, but that's how you figure out who you are, like who you really are.
Yeah. How can you? I mean, you can focus on making someone else happy in a relationship without figuring out your own happiness, but then that's going to turn into a toxic relationship because you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're focused on someone else's happiness without already being good, being mentally strong, being mentally stable, happy with yourself. Then if this relationship doesn't work, it wasn't meant to be, and I'm going to be just as good as I was without you. You can't depend on other people for your happiness. I think Jack should get some therapy and process his trauma so he can get his mind healthier, and then the right person will pop up at the right time. Yep. Bingo. Being alone and finding your own peace and happiness is key. Then the person you end up with is a true partner. They aren't responsible for your happiness. Yeah, a relationship they're a supplement. So it's like your happiness and they just add to it. And it should be, same both ways. It's just a bonus. I love being alone. If you don't have another half, then live your life. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I think Stacy hit it, Jack. I think just building your own strength, that there's assholes and insecure people that don't know you and will reject you and shit on you, but that makes them a piece of shit. That doesn't mean you're the wrong one. So what did we, that was we were just talking about the cheating. There we go. I just had to get back on track with our original thought here. So we talked about the men cheating more than the women. With the cheating, let's hear your guys' opinion. Oof. Emotional cheating versus physical cheating. What do you guys think is worse? Not like either of them is fine, but I would go out of town too. It wasn't so yeah. Me too. Holiday weekend. So I entertain myself by playing my guitar. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So emotional cheating versus physical cheating. Let's talk about that for a minute. What do you guys got? What do you guys think? Would you rather be emotionally cheated on or physically cheated on?
Would I rather?
Physical. Alyssa, are you saying physical is worse than emotional, or what's yeah, would you rather be physically or emotionally cheated on?
Physical.
You'd rather be physically cheated on? Okay.
Yeah.
How come?
I mean, the emotional, I think, just means more, like there actually seems like they're actually making a connection with that person. You know what I'm saying? And where physical might just be that physical. It also, could be more than that. That could be both, but
yep.
If it is just one or the other, yeah, I would rather have the physical because.
That is interesting. You think so? Alyssa says she thinks physical is worse than emotional.
Oh, is worse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought at first she was saying she'd rather have physical than emotional being cheated on. But so why in your opinion would you rather? Why do you think? I
mean, both suck, but
physical is worse.
Yeah.
What?
That's.
I was asking her why she thought physical.
Oh.
What I had here was 60% of people say emotional cheating is more hurtful than physical. I don't know which I would prefer. Both are a deal breaker. Yeah. I mean, either way, definitely both are terrible
Mhm.
and a deal breaker. I would also agree emotional is worse, because even like if someone cheats on you with an emotional attachment, then it's because there's something not there in your relationship on an emotional level. Like there's feelings that are tied to that. Like if you should just go be with that person that you have this emotional thing with, it's like, then why did you develop this emotional attachment to someone else? And why are you staying with this person, but doing it behind this person's back? I don't know. Physical cheating is worse. The last thing I want a picture is my man in the arms of somebody else. You may be able to forgive that person. You won't be able to forget ever. You will never be able to trust them again. If you don't have trust, you don't have anything. Okay. I could see that.
For sure.
That is true, but both suck. Why would someone have to go elsewhere if they get what they need? Well, so I want you guys, let's take it at the man and woman perspective. Man and woman in a relationship, man cheats on his girl with another woman physically. We talked about before, men have a harder time with self-restraint. They have more testosterone.
Hard they don't have a conscience, man.
Right. They're horny. They might just need to get it out of their system.
Mm-hmm.
So they do something spontaneous and stupid. Now take that same scenario. Man goes to another woman and it's an emotional attachment. That, like, to me, that seems just so much worse. Like a man cheating physically, I just feel like he's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. Like, sure, he did something stupid, but emotion, like if that man can't come to you and have that emotional attachment and like talk to you, talk about his emotions, talk about his feelings, maybe talk about sex, I feel like that would be rough.
Right. And I think what we have to do is separate this, because I was thinking the exact same thing. Like what they're saying, there isn't an emotional part in the physical.
Right.
I think what we're trying to say is your guy or man or woman goes out, as ties a couple on, whatever, ends up having
makes a
one night, stupid
decision.
mistake.
Yeah.
Never doesn't even know the fucking person.
Right.
Never does it again. And then there's they meet somebody wherever, and then they're talking to this person constantly.
Right.
Maybe,
whatever. Talking about their relationship.
Yeah. Or who knows what the fuck it is. But I think we kind of separate that, because they do tie in together.
Right.
Right. Big time. But I think that the numbers are probably more of like, it was just a one-time fucking thing. They don't even know the person.
Right.
They don't give a shit about them. Or
emotional, you got to look at is like more of a long-term, like they've been talking, they know they're expressing feelings. There's a true connection, where the physical was one and done or whatever. Yeah. That's the kind of the difference I was going with those.
Just the fact, like, even on that, like the emotional part, we're talking that way, like that person will probably like have your number too. Like you have each other's numbers.
Yeah.
Like all that shit. Like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Whereas the other one is, you probably didn't even get to that. You just fucking whatever.
Probably didn't, might not have even known their name.
Right. Yeah.
And I know I'm using male, female, but there's women that cheat on men. There's women that cheat on women. There's men that cheat on men. I'm just in general kind of what the consensus is. Let's see what we got here. My My husband and I have been in an open relationship for most of our relationship. When we got our foster daughter, we decided we had our fun and it's time to move on. This keeps moving on me. With this said, our biggest rule was not to get an emotional attachment. We both had this thing keeps moving. We both had our third partner and decided to end it because we wanted her to be able to get married and have the chance at a normal monogamous relationship. Sex has always just been sex to me, but if emotions are involved, then that's what I consider cheating. Now that we are fully monogamous, I would more upset about the emotional cheating than the physical. Yeah, I'm there with you on that. The emotional is so different. But also in the same sense as Karen said, that's torturous to envision your partner just being tagged by someone else. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be picturing that, you know.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I feel like there's emotional involved in physical too, because yeah, that's where we were trying to kind of separate the scenario. But yeah, there's definitely got to be some emotional involved in a lot of the physical. This goes back to I don't understand cheating, which is why I would love to hear from cheaters. Try to truly understand their thought process. Johnny, you are right there.
Oh, thank you.
He's here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, both suck. Both are terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
both are bad for relationships.
I guess there's really not a right answer to that, but
so yeah, that was pretty interesting. What is this? Oh, I don't know what I wrote on that one. I don't know what Alyssa's saying. Johnny, you're right there.
No, you're right. You are right.
Oh,
like I'm correct.
Oh, I thought she was just saying that you're right there.
Well, I am right here too, but
we just did the emotional. Oh, this was another one I was curious about, is in these relationships, because everyone's so different. And my mom asked me about this earlier because I told her we were doing the episode, and she was saying, asking about, like, should we accept people for who they are in their relationship? My answer to that was yes and no. It depends on who they are. I said, just be
in terms of what?
Their faults or their, whoever you're in the relationship, accepting them for who they are, no matter who they are. And I like whatever their faults or their red flags, whatever, if you decide to get in a relationship and you start to see their faults or the red flags, me personally, I say absolutely not. I said, just because you're married or you're in a relationship, that's not a free pass to just accept someone for who they are or who they become, because you don't know when you're going to fully, truly know someone. You can't just say, no matter what, you accept them. And I think a lot of, I would say mostly women would be susceptible to that, maybe accepting like shitty men. Just because you're in the relationship doesn't mean you have to accept them and put up with who they are. And same with men to women. But there's definitely a boundary of the type of person. Yes, correct. Yeah, so I don't know. There's definitely, I don't think you should just have to accept someone for their faults and their, depending on what they are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that goes with
if you're in a marriage or relationship.
Yeah, what are we talking about here though? Like somebody who like likes to have sex a lot and they can just I
Right.
I
It
gotta
all
go out.
depends on the
I gotta
scenario.
go out and put some notches on my mouth. Like,
Yeah.
that's not.
Right.
I guess it depends on what kind of faults we're talking about here.
Yeah. The other thing I was gonna see is if I think a big thing that Mina talked about was the emotional side with divorce and cheating, as far as why when women do it initiate at a higher rate. I think I don't know what you guys think, but in a relationship, I think obviously women take on more of an emotional burden. They're more the nurturers.
Yeah.
And so I think there's probably a lot more that weighs on their mind and their emotions than men really deal with. Which was a big thing. There's a lot more emotion for women. And if a lot of them feel if men aren't matching that, it's just going to eventually be divorce. We accept the love we think we deserve. We feel better about us than we accept. Then we accept better love. Yeah, that's a good point. It's interesting how people rate different faults, like which are non-negotiables for some people and not others. Interesting thought. Yeah. I think there's some that are tolerable and can work within a relationship, and then there's definitely hard lines.
Well, and that's when I said earlier, like not every relationship's going to be the same. It might work for these people,
right?
But it won't work for these. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's different. There's not going to be the same relationship. Nobody's going to have the same one. It's not going to look fucking scripted out exactly how this person's is. So yeah, everybody has their boundaries, like we talked about earlier.
Yep. Another thing I had about women divorce, the higher divorce rate that women initiate, which I have super mixed emotions about, is their network, their support group, their social network there of support, where I feel like women feel more confident and more strength from their support groups to initiate divorce. So the reason I say that I have mixed emotions about it is because so many times, I'm sure we've all had it, where we're in a relationship, things aren't great, but that that group, that support that's behind you, they're the ones that are not going through it, are going through the same thing that you're going through, don't know what's actually going on. They know what you're saying, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they're kind of gaslighting you, kind of telling you what you want to hear, what'll make you feel better, or just leave them. Just never. A lot of times I feel like people more go towards the dramatic things than the rational support.
Right. And yeah, you're not getting both sides of the story, and you won't in a situation like that. So, and most of the time I think, yeah, you're probably right. They're gonna, because that's kind of what the person's looking for almost.
Right.
Tell me I'm not crazy thinking this, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why it's probably more women side on that one is because
They love
How
the
we-
gossip.
Well, yeah, but no. We talked about this in an earlier episode. Men's health. We don't. It's not easy for anybody, but men especially. I feel like there's not many times. Me and you've been friends for years. We don't usually sit down as a bunch of boys and talk about that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have,
Yeah.
but not near
that full
no.
extent.
So you might not be, because you don't, it's just not something we do. It doesn't go along with what we usually do when we hang out.
Right.
It just doesn't go along with it. So I feel like there's probably way more, which good for them. They're getting it off their chest. You need to talk about it. We probably don't do that as much.
No,
I'm thinking
definitely not. 100%.
Especially with our friend groups, nearly
not
as much as
happening.
women do.
Yeah. But, and that's where I have the problem. It's the types of friendships and support that they get that might lead to that divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. Where it's not, you're not the one that's going to have to go through this.
Yeah.
That's what you got to think.
It's not, too many times people aren't telling their friends what they need to hear, and those rational, like legit supportive answers. It's whatever will make that person feel better, so you don't have to deal with hearing it, or instead of like, just chill out, you're overreacting, you could do this or that. So I think that has a role in it too.
Damn, I almost said that. What Karen just said. I almost said that. The two sides to every story. I almost said there's three.
3 sides. Yeah. 3 sides to every story. His, hers,
and the truth.
Absolutely.
Somewhat there in the middle.
So, right. They tell them what they want to hear. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And I think just, I don't know. I think just in general, I think girls are the most guilty of that. Instead of trying to help a person see both sides, it's just like, yeah, I see it. He's such an asshole. Leave him. Let's go get you some dick. Like, I mean, guys are guilty of that, but in a different way. But more times than not, guys don't want to go through divorce. But in the same sense, a lot of guys don't want to work on the issues either. My friends come to me because I speak the truth. I don't care if you want to hear it or not. I will tell you what you need to hear. Yeah, I think that's why I have a lot of, like, if Janae's on here watching, she'll hate me for this, but I think that's why she gets mad at me, because that's it. She'll get mad because I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna tell it the way it is. You're my sister. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. If I sound like an asshole, sorry, but it's for the best. What does anyone get out of sugarcoating things, and you know, just a whole lot of disappointment?
Yeah, it's not going to help you at all.
No one's going to come back to me and be like, why didn't you instead of telling me that, why didn't you tell me that this was going to happen or whatever?
Yeah. Because then it's on you.
Yep.
Then it's on you. Then they're not there with you when it's happening,
I want to kind of transition from divorce and the cheating and blah, blah, blah. Well, and your brother and you love her. Exactly. Going with the higher divorce rate, initiations by women. There's going to be a lot of scenarios off of this, but if women, let's say, all right, there's kids involved. If women initiate divorce at the higher rate, a significant amount, why should they be entitled to all this child support? And I want to look at it from, okay, I don't want to make it sound like I'm someone who's against child support this and that. I want to take it from the perspective of like, okay, a piece of shit dad who needs to get his shit together and provide for his kids. Yes. Okay. The man should be paying child support. Let's just say he's a great dad. But things didn't work out. Maybe he was a great husband, but the woman she wants to initiate divorce. Is she entitled to child support? I agree with you. Being a mom is a full-time job, but isn't that I'm not an attorney. I don't know all the ins and outs, but if you're with someone for that long, you have kids, you had a certain lifestyle, isn't that alimony then? Isn't that where alimony helps provide for being a mom? Because especially nowadays, everything's so damn expensive. A lot more couples are working 2 jobs. Let's say the mom does have a full-time job. Child support isn't meant to pay a salary for being a full-time mom, right? It's child support. So you're supporting the needs of the child, not being a full-time mom. So I'm not saying I 1000% single mom, moms that are raising children, that I would never take anything away from that. But if the dad's there are some full-time single dads too. Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is there's dads that pay child support that have the kids more than the moms. Why? So let's kind of take it from 2 angles. The women initiate, let's say she has a job. Both parents got to provide for the family or the kids. Dad's not a bad person. He takes care of what he needs to for the kids. The mom works, the dad works. Why? What's the child support going to the mom? I mean, that's such a high rate too. I mean, some people you're looking at like a quarter of their paychecks going out to.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess this has a bunch of different factors.
Or a quarter of their monthly income.
Yeah.
Not the pay.
I mean, obviously it's who are the kids with? Like what's that schedule kind of like? I just look at it as though, like, especially if both parties are involved and see the kids, weekly, whatever, regularly, both of them.
Mm.
I'm not disagreeing with child support. It's sometimes the amount is a little outrageous.
Yeah.
Because, and maybe especially now, but, whether it's the mom or the dad, whoever's got to pay it, they have to live somewhere too with the kids.
Right.
They have to afford a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, whatever.
Yep.
How are you doing that if you're on your own?
Right.
Some people can do it. Not saying, some people can do it. A lot of people can't.
Well,
like
I think that whole system needs to be just revamped and like caught up with the times. Because like I said, there's more women working now there's more positions where both people have to be working and things are outrageously expensive. And it's like, are you telling me that your one child is eating $1,200 in groceries a month? Or for every single month, they need $1,200 in groceries and clothes and shoes. And kids have needs. Kids are expensive.
Right.
But let's say the dad pays the medical bills, pays, whatever they need to separately, but then they're still having to pay, $1,200-$1,500 a month, and it's like, what's the dad do?
I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the amounts are
unreasonable,
a little insane.
You're not paying for, and it could go either way. Even if a woman's paying child support, it's not acceptable to expect that, and like expect that person to be able to have a life, to live on their own, when they have to pay. You're not paying your spouse to live. You're paying to support the kids.
Right.
Let's see what some of you guys are saying. Let's see. So Honor, I could have that child. You should save your child support talk for another day. Yes. There are some full-time single dads too. I get a petty $50 a week for my son so I can wipe my ass with $50. Well, I get that. I mean, yeah, that's on the other extreme.
Yeah.
Dads that have kids more definitely should not be paying support to the mom. That's wild. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like the system is so against the dad. I mean, there's no way around it. It's clear as day.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way.
Mm-mm.
There are some people out there that's the circumstance. Put that child support in an act for that child. Oh, in an account for the child.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think if they're more reasonable,
would make way more sense to me than
Yeah,
that would actually be nice.
I feel like it should
that was the thing. Yeah.
You put it in an account, and that card is like, you can only you use the card, and it can only be, it can't be to go out and get snacks and ice cream and movies and dinner. It's for clothes. It's for food. It's for the necessities.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of scenarios on this. Unfortunately, a lot of women have abused child support. Yeah, there's endless scenarios with it. That's why I'm trying to go more of a broad aspect of it. Some women love to go back and forth to court to try and get more support all the time. That just seems like a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, you have to think about extracurricular activities too. A lot of times the dads don't pay half medical, half anything else. It's just the support, I think, each situation. Yeah. No, you're right, Stacy. There's
definitely a ton of factors.
That's why I can't really make it that specific, just because of that. There's so many scenarios. So yes, there's all the sports. That shit is expensive. All the I'm trying to go from like the unreasonable situations of, all right, the dad gives money for kids to buy the stuff for the sports, or contributes to the medical, and then after paying this outside stuff, having to still be paying, what is that child support? Why is it so bad? Why is it so high? And especially like there are scenarios where people separate expecting they don't want to be with the person, and now know, okay, I can just get child support. I don't have to get a job. I don't have to do this or that, or I can get a job just to fill my time and my own spending money, but I'm going to live off of the child support. There's people that abuse it like that, which I think there needs to be some kind of filter for that. If sole custody is to one parent, mom or dad, full child support should be given. However, if custody is split, there should be no child support demanded by either, and split medical bills, etc. Half and half. It makes so much better. Yeah, I agree. If custody is 50-50, and I don't think there should be. I think you both should support the kids half the time you have them. And I also, like Johnny was saying, I think they have to reevaluate how hard they hit dads with child support, because I do think it's unreasonable. It's way too high. Now, if you're paying that much, let's say you're paying $1,200 a month. If you're paying that much, then is any of the health bills covered in that? Is any of the extracurriculars? There's got to be a lot of breakdown. Sorry, guys, my voice is jacked up. I think Alyssa is spot on. It goes in an account, and when the other parent uses that money, it's expensed. Yeah, just like if you have a company card, you got it. There's receipts, there's paperwork. It sucks, but it's the responsible way of doing things. Then nothing can be challenged. There can be no one saying, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. Everything is accounted for. Being a part-time 50-50 parent, no one should have to pay even close to the max percentage. Hopefully come to some kind of even ground on daycare, medical. Yeah, absolutely. It would be wonderful if everything just worked out perfect for everyone. Like Johnny said, if they need it to help with getting a 2-bedroom apartment, they can expense that. Yeah, because let's face it, your parents need, or your kids need somewhere to live.
That's what I'm saying. I think people lose sight of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, if that's the reason you're doing it, just to get I'm just going to get the full, just to piss them off,
Yep.
Well, your kids are there too.
Yeah. That's where the system's
you're
built
hurting.
against.
Yeah. Like, it shouldn't even be allowed to get that far.
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. I don't know.
Some women like to go after the man just to spite them for divorcing the woman, and it's so childish. Well, yeah, that happens too. I've seen women take their child support and go out and get their nails did, buy jewelry. Yeah, I mean, because let's face it, you might, especially if the woman's working, how much of that each month is actually, like I said, the dad's pitching in where he needs to with all the side stuff. We're looking at just to support that child as far as in the house, like how much of that $1,200 a month is really is a need to spend on the kids, especially when it's support. It's not everything. Like the mom is still paying for the kids too. So let's say you're paying 50-50 groceries, blah, blah, blah. That $1,200 a month shouldn't be needed for everything for that kid. And then, yeah, that's where that happens. The mom, some of the moms will be like, I got an extra $500. What can I spend it on this month?
Yep.
My son will have enough for a first car by the time he is ready to drive. See, that's perfect.
Yeah, and that helps. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because, by the time they're at that age, say they want to get a job or something, going to need a car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something.
There's
absolutely
a lot bigger expenses that are down the road. As they get older, they get more expensive. My whole point really in this is that I feel like the system was all designed for the old fashioned, mom stayed at home.
Yeah.
Dad was the one working.
Outdated.
Yeah. And I think it all needs to be revamped and caught up to the times. And that's, so my other question was about alimony too, because that one is such a touchy subject too, because we talked about higher rate of women initiating divorce. Well, if they initiate the divorce, and we're not talking, it's not some crazy, outlandish reason or anything crazy extreme. They initiate the divorce. Well, now maybe the wife, or it could be the husband, were used to a certain lifestyle and now expect that even being divorced, where the court will be like, all right, well, you need to pay $2,000 a month so that your wife or your husband can keep up the lifestyle they lived when, you were together.
Yeah.
So if I only understand that to a certain extent. If it's an extreme scenario, okay, whatever. But if you just aren't working anymore, if the relationship doesn't work and you just want out, I feel like at that point, then you need to be an adult, get a job, or do what you got to do to support your own life.
Yeah.
Like the husband or whoever, the breadwinner, shouldn't still be expected to pay for your lifestyle moving on. That whole alimony thing always confused me. Even though I get $50 a week, it's been going into an account since he was a baby. Awesome. Yes, very outdated. I am from that generation. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that needs to all be looked at. What do you guys have any insight? I don't know if any of you guys have had to deal with the whole alimony thing, but I don't know. That's one that I'm pretty, I don't know. Not really for.
I mean, there's there's a lot of other stuff too that they can go after if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Like retirement.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Like, why are you getting retirement?
Right.
Like that never made sense to me.
Yeah, because it's not like retirement. It's not like there's extra retirement set aside for your spouse. You're still putting away retirement for yourself to retire. I don't know.
It's
some things should just not
a lot.
be touched.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's situational with alimony. Some women can't work, like on disability. Yeah. There's definitely, let's say there's a spouse that's a cancer patient. They can't just go get a job. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Those unique situations. There's definitely times where I can see that for sure. And I wouldn't disagree with you on that at all. I think it's more, I'm talking more, I guess, about the ones that just want the same lifestyle, just want it somewhere else. And they just know that,
like, does that,
I can still leave and do what I want to do.
The alimony thing, I don't know much about that part of it, but like, does that get denied unless you have a reason? Or
well, there's usually when you get divorced, there's circumstances that you get divorced over and discuss while you're going through the process. But the alimony thing, I believe, breaks down into years of the relationship. So I think there's criteria for a certain amount of years and stuff. I think there's a lot of levels to it. I don't know the full specifics. Like my parents were married 25 years. She gets half of everything. That's the way I had it set up. And when they got married, if they ever divorced, but if that person gets alimony or half of everything, put that money in an IRA or a CD and save it. Oh, that's pretty cool. As far as able-bodied people, they should get a grace period, then get a job. Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. I just didn't know if like the court itself would deny it.
I'm
or
sure
you
it
can
could.
just-
I'm
right,
sure
yeah,
if they're looking into the situation or the circumstance, I'm sure there's ways that it gets denied, that it could get denied. And yeah, I think a grace period would be acceptable. You can't just give someone 10 years of alimony and expect, I don't know, I'd say a grace period of like a year. Sometimes alimony depends on how long you've been married. It's something a woman can ask for, but that doesn't mean the judge will give it to her. Child support,
Okay.
100% alimony. Yeah. That's I did see something about that, how it broke down into like 0 to however many years, and then so it was a lot of sections with that. One fact I didn't read earlier was 85% of cheating starts with someone in their social or professional circle. I missed that one.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the people you see, you know.
Most affairs start with someone they know. Yeah. This is why I'll never get married. I'm all set on that. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Speaking of
Don't blame
facts,
you.
another one with the marriage is people that spend $20,000 or more on a wedding are little more than 1.5 times more likely to get divorced than people that spend less than 20 grand on their wedding.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
It is. I think part of it has to do with finances, but I think more of it has to do that with the fact that people are spending significantly more, are more concerned and more about the show of it than they are the actual meaning of it.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think because, I mean, if you think about it, why do you need to spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 grand on a wedding?
I don't know.
What is marriage? It's about you and the person you're with. Anything outside of that, what's it matter? It's a celebration, sure.
Yeah.
But you're paying for all these other people to sell 200 people to celebrate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's always been a built up thing though, you know.
Yeah.
I would probably say more towards the women, you know, have their dress and
their
big, yeah, like a fairy tale type thing. Yeah.
Alyssa, if someone wants to marry me, buy me a ring, say we're married, call it a day. What's mine is mine. You signing a prenup. Why don't you buy them a ring? What about that? How about that? Interesting stat. Spent a couple hundred on my first marriage. Didn't last. I could see that too. People who don't really care at all, and maybe it doesn't last. Recent marriage spent quite a bit more to have a bomb ass party. It's the healthiest relationship. See, that's cool. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. It really comes down to what you both want out of the wedding. It doesn't really dictate what your relationship's going to be or what it is, but it is. Some people go through the phases for a show, and the emotions aren't really attached there, and some, yeah, like you said, just have a hell of a fucking party. Yeah, you're all independent, doing your thing, making your money. Buy Johnny a ring. He'll sign a prenup. But I think that's all I have, guys. I think that's all I got. I tried to touch base on a bunch of different stuff with all of that. I thought I had a stat about people that cheated and stayed together. %50. Oh, yeah, I did. Over 50% of couples try to stay together after cheating. Some grow stronger. That's crazy. Half?
Say that again.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, find it.
Over 50% of couples that were in a cheating relationship try to stay together after cheating. Some grow stronger. That's more than I would have thought.
Yeah.
The other half get divorced. Or break up. I'll buy
Damn.
Johnny a ring. Karen will buy you a ring.
Nice. I'll take it.
Okay. Hope you know what you're in for, Karen. He doesn't even have DMs you can hit him up on.
No,
He's
I
got
have
no
nothing.
social media.
I got nothing.
So he really doesn't even exist.
No.
If you don't have social
Not
media,
even a person.
Are you even real?
No. Not real.
Is this real life? All right, Karen. Well, I don't know. I'll have to vet you out before you can have my dude. Oops, my bad. Johnny's taken. What?
Johnny's not taken.
Johnny is not taken. This was my first podcast with you guys. It was a good one. Thanks for a good chat. P.S. I don't know how cheating couples are stronger. LOL. Maybe just one more comfortable accepting bullshit. Yeah, I mean, the relationship's tainted. Like,
Yeah.
fuck.
I know.
mean, everyone, they say it, once a cheater, always a cheater.
That's a tough one, man.
I mean, some people change, but how do you just, I don't know how you could go through it. But I'm glad you popped on here with us, Stacy, and all the great input. It was awesome to have you on with us. Come check us out anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love to have you. And if you ever want to be on, you got something you want to chit chat about, or if you just want to come on and talk shit, you have to fight. You have to fight the one he is with. Ha ha ha!
Fight an invisible
I
person.
am so confused.
Yeah.
You can friend me, Johnny, as long as you don't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have a
I
girlfriend.
do not have a girlfriend.
But he can't friend you because he doesn't have social media. It's confirmed the game, man. You're gonna have to, Karen. You're really gonna have to seek him out. He's got no Facebook, no Instagram.
You have to seek me out.
You can call in on the line if anyone wants to call in. We can do a dating thing right here. Jordan, you and I can share custody of Johnny. Oh, he's all yours in that sense. I mean, he's my boy, but I'm just saying vetting you out as far as who my boy's going to be
Yeah.
with. Yeah, you could have him. As long as he's free on the podcast nights.
Right. Of course.
Here, I'll make this. Let me do this. Oh shit.
What'd you do?
Watch. Hold on. You guys can look in the comments section in a second. Just in case, you guys can anytime that we have a podcast. Oh shit, that's wrong too. God, I am such an idiot. That's not the number. Oh, here it is. Here we go, guys. All right. So anytime we have a podcast, people can, we finally, a few episodes ago, we set up a number for people to call in that I posted in the comments. So, Karen, if you want to call in, we could have a dating show right now with you. That would make for some good entertainment. But yeah, I got to approve you before you can buy him a ring. And then we can go ring shopping together. Johnny, you and I need to talk. Not about me
Uh-oh.
with you. Ha 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 ha.
You have to do the ha-ha-has.
Yeah, I have to. If they wrote, I'm not going to censor these people. If they write it, I'll read it.
All right. You didn't read the LOL.
LOL. Yeah. So anytime anyone wants to call in, but if not tonight, then another night, and tonight we'll start wrapping up. I hope you guys enjoyed. I freaking hate you, Jordan.
That was only 2 ha-has. You went way too crazy with that
I
one.
know. Is that the real number for an extended warranty on my car? You can call and find out.
Well,
That's the only way you're gonna know. I won't tell you the truth here. You guys are funny. Thanks for being on with us, guys.
yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, it was entertaining. Jack, thanks for popping in.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, man.
Good luck with everything.
Hope you find the right one. Keep doing your thing, man. It sounds like you're on the right path, though. Just stay positive. And screw those chicks who don't want a big boy. Karen, why are you laughing? It's a serious thing. If you want to be with my guy, you can call in. Oh yeah, that is funny shit. That was funny. All right, what do you guys think? Are you guys done? I just need one of you to tell us we're done and just to end it. Or else I'm gonna hold on to hope that you guys are gonna just keep talking and we're just gonna keep sounding stupid. Are you guys ready to wrap up? Johnny, are you ready?
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Karen, are you calling my boy or not? Do you want us to extend your car warranty?
No, I don't want that.
Oh, all right, whatever. Send me the number. I'll call it. It's right there. See, you don't pay attention. In the comment section, scroll up. Scroll up a few comments. Oh, jeez. All right. That's a red flag already. She doesn't pay attention. I'm going to bed. Peace out, Stace. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah, thank you.
Contributions. I have to go. Oh, give me your number. I'll call in. Here's your number. Oh, I got to go walk the dog. All right. Another red flag. Excuses. All right. No, but we'll try to have another episode next weekend. If we come up with anything crazy, just so that it's out there. On here, I did have an idea about doing maybe like a small business Sunday.
Ooh.
So, is that the right number for sure? Yes, as long as I wrote down the right number we have, that's the right number. You'll be on the line with us. We've had some successes in people calling in, to be exact. Oh, stop it. I got it. All right, well, that is the right number. Give me Johnny's real number. Oh, I can't do that. I can't just have fans calling his personal phone nonstop, Alyssa. If I gave out Johnny's real number on here, he'd be getting spammed with how big this podcast is. Jeez. No, but in all reality, yeah, I've been thinking about doing small business Sundays. Try to get some small business people in, someone different each week, and highlight those. So, yeah, Alyssa, I know.
The
Oh,
585 Boys
here we
podcast.
go.
It's so cool how it says that.
Hello, this is the 585 Boys.
Hello.
Oh, hello. What's up?
Hey there. Is this Jordan?
Yeah, this is him live
It's
on the
Karen.
line.
What's up, fellas?
How you
I'm
doing?
live, huh?
Oh. Oh shit, Karen, are you drunk?
No,
Oh,
not yet.
okay. All right.
Oh,
All right.
No.
not
It's
yet.
a school night. I can't get drunk.
Oh,
All right.
it is a
So
school
yeah,
night.
sure. We'll go. You want to go shopping? You can vet me. and we can go shopping for rings for Johnny.
There we go.
All right. Oh yeah, Alyssa. Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
get you on for your small business. What do you do for a living, Karen?
Actually, I used to be in medical field for a long time, and then I was in a car accident about 5 years ago. So it's harder for me to do that work, but I have some side hustles there. You know, some bartending and waitressing and
Selling
Nice.
drugs? Do you
medical
sell
shit,
drugs?
so- No, I wish. No,
Good
Yeah.
money.
I didn't say
Tax
that.
Yeah. You ain't kidding.
We'll give you the wink wink. We know you can't admit it live.
Yeah.
What was I just gonna? I forgot what I was gonna ask.
I don't know.
So will you be able to financially support Johnny? If no, I'm just kidding. He's got a job.
Oh,
He
why?
works.
Sure.
He
Yeah,
works.
Oh, even better then.
sure.
Cool.
Absolutely.
All
As
right.
long as he's ready to just, share walking the dog and stuff like that, that's cool.
What kind of dog?
Oh, she's just a little thing.
I've never heard
what
of
do they
that
call it? A
breed.
miniature greyhound.
Oh,
Ooh.
she's AKC approved. Yeah. Mhm.
That's pretty
Ooh,
cool.
Little hot.
Nice.
Rescued her.
Cool. Cool.
Do you have any
Lo-
pets? Do you boys have any pets?
I have 2 Shiba Inu dogs,
Two cute little
Oh.
guys.
Japanese.
Yeah. They're cool as hell.
Ah.
They really
Are
are.
those on the Chow family and the Chow family?
I'm not. I don't think so.
No?
I don't even know what that
You're gonna
is.
have to look them up.
I don't. Yeah, I'll
I
be
don't
honest.
even know what that
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
They're like a medium-sized dog, like 30 pounds. Japanese breed. They kind of look like mini Akitas or Huskies.
Oh, okay. I know
look
what
like
that
little
is. Yeah.
fox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Dawson looks just like a fox.
Yeah, they
I
have
used
a
to
freaking
show
fox.
Samoyeds.
sandwich.
But no. I used to show Samoyeds, the dog, Samoyed, the breed.
Oh,
The boy and the white dogs, the white puppy ones back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
oh, that's
Cool.
cool.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, we won a couple, 2-3 blue ribbons. Yep, sure did.
Wow. Yeah, the Shibas, they have a pretty awesome history. I read a lot about their
Yeah.
history. Yeah. They were Japanese hunting dogs. They were used in World War II.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Well, I can see Dawson's always focused outside.
laser focused.
Laser.
Yeah, they're
just
hunters.
always in the window staring
Oh,
outside.
it's interesting. It's interesting to learn the history of a breed. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Are you local?
I am. I'm right in Spencerport.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cool.
Nice. Nice.
Spencerport and Gates, right on the border there, right on the cusp.
Oh, nice. So
Just
being
enough city, just enough country. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
being a Karen, do you live up to the name?
I do not by any means.
Oh, okay.
Unless you mess with my family, that's a different story. But other than
Yeah,
that, no. not
That's
by any
acceptable.
That. Yeah, I could see that.
So we won't catch you on any viral videos going crazy on people.
No. I'm not viral yet, but we'll see. You never know.
Hey.
Tomorrow's another day, right?
Yeah,
it's
you
true.
are on the 585 Boys podcast.
Yeah, you are.
Maybe you'll get
Yes,
viral.
you are.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. Well,
Cool.
We're
Jordan's
gonna-
gonna have way more questions for you.
yeah,
at some
I'll
point.
think
Yeah.
of some more. If you keep tuning in, I'll think
Yeah.
of some more.
Oh yeah.
You make a list of questions. You can call me anytime. I do have to let this dog out though. She's tap dancing.
Yeah, go do your
Yeah,
thing.
go get
it. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Have a good night, guys.
You
All right,
too.
you too.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, there's another call in.
Is that 3?
That's our third one.
Wow.
A whippet. Husky family, kind of. Yeah. Give me them for nail trims and baths. Oh shit. Yeah. Are you good with them? Because look, if you're good with Shiba Inus, they are bad. We need someone who can trim their nails. Baths, it'd be nice because we end up with scars after.
Yeah.
Oh, they get nuts, screaming, and look up the Sheba scream.
Seriously?
It's a thing.
I can't imagine those two going
It's
crazy.
violent.
I gotta see this.
It's
I
bad.
gotta see it.
All right, guys. Well, yeah. So we'll try to start working on that. Small Business Sunday. Boy, I'm good with every breed. I'm the dog whisperer. All right, we'll see. You whisper to them dogs, they'll bite your lips off. We'll see, Alyssa. You slow your roll. I'll pay you double if you can cut their nails.
Damn.
Grooming
son.
18 years almost. It's a thing. I hope you got tranquilizers. Yeah. So yeah, if you ever want to come on a Sunday, we'll try to set up some small businesses and talk about what they do, shit like that. And try to promote some of the local stuff. And yeah, we'll have you on anytime. But that's it. We're gonna cut it off. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was a good conversation. Some good perspectives, good insight. We appreciate all the input you ladies had, especially when it came to men cheating. You guys were I couldn't keep up with the comments there. No, I don't need that. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. Settle down with the men cheating thing.
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But yeah,
man eaters. Is that what they call?
Man eater.
Man eater.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Have a great rest of your night. Have a good week coming up. Mondays suck, but at least you got to end your weekend on a high note.
Ooh,
with the boys.
the 5A5 boys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Later. Go Bills.
Bye.